Hello everyone, welcome back. In the previous video, we had implemented the functionality for actually navigating from a list style inside of our recent conversation page to our actual conversation page. Now in this video, we are going to further develop the conversation page and actually create the UI to actually show the messages. So the way we're going to get started is that we'll create a new function. We'll call this conversation page UI. And then inside of here, we'll return a widget, and the widget that we're going to return is going to be a stack. So stack is a new widget introduction in this course, and what a stack allows us to do is similar to a column or row. A stack allows us to actually have multiple widget children inside of it, and those children are put one on top of each another. So a stack you could think of as a stack of pancakes. Similar to this is how a stack works, where we could have a child which would be at index 0, and then the child at index 1 is going to be on top of that, and then a child on the index 2 is going to be on top of the child on index 1, and that's basically what a stack is. So with that, what I'm going to do is that for our stack, there's a property called overflow, and we'll set this to overflow.visible. So this tells us that anytime a widget actually overflows or actually extends beyond the actual constraints or the boundaries of our stack, well, what are we going to do? Are we actually going to just cut it right off there for the part that's off or extends beyond what our stack's boundary is, or are we going to actually show that part too? So we'll keep that as overflow.visible, so we actually want to show that part, and then we'll actually define the children for our stack. So the children for our stack are going to be two children. If I open our design files, the first child of our stack is going to be our actual list view, which is this, and then we'll also have on top of our list view our actual text input, as well as our actual this button that's going to allow us to actually send image messages. So we'll firstly address our actual list view, which is going to allow us to actually show some messages. So let's get going with that. So what I'm going to do is that inside of our children's, I'm going to create a new function, and I'm going to call this message list view. I'm going to add a comma, and I'm going to go down, and I'm going to now create this function. So I'm going to call this message list view. With this, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to open the function block, and then inside of here we can define our messages list view. So what we're going to do is that we are going to return firstly a container, because we want to limit the size of our list view. So I'm going to return a container. This container is going to have a height and a width. So if we have to get a height and the width, the way we're going to do this is that inside of our conversation page state, we'll define two doubles. So double, and then we'll call this our device height. And then we'll have another double, which we'll call our device width. And then what we're going to do is that we are going to remove this print statement, and I'm going to do device height, and then we'll set that equal to our media query dot off, and then context dot size, and then dot width, or sorry, not width, height. With that, we'll do underscore device width, and we'll set that similar to how we set our height of media query dot off, context dot size, and then dot width. With Alt-Shift-F command save, we can go down to our container, and for the height, I'll set it as our underscore device height multiplied by 0.75. And then we'll also need the actual width, and the width is going to be just our device's width. And then finally, we'll need a child, and the child is going to be our actual list view builder. And then I'm going to add a semicolon here. So the child is going to be our list view dot builder. So I'm going to create our list view dot builder. And then inside of here, we're going to define our builder function. But before that, I'm just going to reformat the code using Alt-Shift-F. I'll also take our conversation page UI, and I'll add it to our scaffold's body. So I'm going to define the body for our scaffold, and I'll add the conversation page UI, and I'll do Alt-Shift-F command save. So for now, our list view.builder returns null, and that's why we're getting this error. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to define our function. So our list view.builder is going to give us a context, and it's going to give us an index, and we'll return the actual message bubble that we want to render. So by message bubble, I mean the actual child inside of our list view. So the message bubble could either be this or this. For now, we'll just work on this message bubble, which is a text message bubble. So now what we're going to do inside of here is that I'm going to add a comma, I'm going to do Alt-Shift-F, and then we are ready. So what I'm going to do initially is that I'm going to return text message bubble. So I'm going to create a function, I'll call this text message, and then bubble, B-U-B-L-E, bubble. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to, for now, add a semicolon. Now I'll go down and I'll create this function. So I'll call this function underscore widget, and then I'll call this text message bubble. And then what this text message bubble is going to do is that it's going to return the actual message bubble. So firstly, what we'll do is that we are going to return a container. So return a container, and this container is going to have a height, and the height will be our device's height multiplied with 0.10. And then what we'll do is that we are going to get our width, and the width is going to be our device's width. And then we are going to multiply this with 0.75. So we want 75% of the device's width. And then what we're going to do is that we're going to define a child for our actual container. Alt-Shift-F command, save. If you look closely at our design images, you're going to see that our message bubble actually contains two widgets inside of it, an actual text and another text that actually shows us when the message was sent. So to achieve that, what we're going to do is that we're going to use a column. Now our column is going to have a main axis size, a main axis alignment, and a cross axis alignment. And I'm going to copy these in because these are fairly simple and we have done this a lot during this course. And I'm going to do Alt-Shift-F, command save. And the main axis size is going to be main axis size.max. The main axis alignment would be space around, and then the cross axis alignment would be start. With that, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to define the children for our column. So our column is going to have some children. And in this case, we're going to have two children. Firstly, we'll have a text, and this text is going to be the message that was sent. So our text message bubble is going to take in a message. So we'll set string and underscore message. And then we'll put that message here for our text. Secondly, we'll also have another text. And this text is going to be the time that was message was sent. For now, we'll just have a static text, which will say a moment ago. And then we'll also define the styling for our text, because this text is going to have different style to our text, so text style. And then here we'll have a color, and the color is going to be colors.white and then 70. We're going to add the trailing commas, Alt-Shift-F, command save. Then what I'm going to do is that for our text message bubble, the message I'm going to send is going to be hello. I'm going to do Alt-Shift-F, command save. And you're going to see that our list tile now actually shows up. And we are actually showing these messages. Now what I'm going to do is that to remove some of the clutter, I'll set the item count for our list view builder to 1. I'm going to do Alt-Shift-F, command save. The next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to add some padding inside of our container. To do that, what we'll do is that we'll do padding, and then we'll do edge insets dot symmetric, and then we'll do horizontal, and then we'll add in 10. We'll do Alt-Shift-F, command save. Hopefully some padding is added. With that, the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to define the color for our text message bubble, because if you remember, our text message bubble had really pretty colors for the user or the sender. So the way we're going to achieve the effect of these message bubbles having this gradient background is going to be having a list of colors, where we'll start with one color and we'll end at another one. But depending on if our user sends the message or our receiver sends the message, we are going to show different colors and different gradients. So to do that, what we're going to do is that we're going to create a new list of colors inside of our actual function, and we'll call this function or call this variable our color scheme. And then what we'll do is that we'll pass in a Boolean value to our actual text message bubble, which will be is own message. So if the message was ours or if the message was the other person, and if the message is ours, so is own message, then what we're going to do is that we are going to use this list of colors, which I'll copy in. It's fairly simple. And forgot to add this. So this list of colors, which is colors.blue, and then colors.from RGB 42, 117, 188, and 1. And this is going to be small letter bool. And then what we're going to do is that we are going to, if that is not the case, we are going to use another list of colors. And this time the list of colors I'm going to copy in again is going to be this list of colors. So colors.from RGB 69, 69, 69, 1, and colors.from RGB 43, 43, 43, 1. And I'm going to do Alt-Shift-F. And before we do Command says, I'm going to go to the top to our text message bubble, and I'll send his own message as true for now. And we'll do Alt-Shift-F, Command save. Now what we're going to do is that for our container, we're going to define a decoration. And inside of that decoration, we'll have the ability to actually set our container's gradient. So we'll do box decoration first. And then inside of our box decoration, we'll define in the gradient. The gradient is going to be of type linear gradient. So we'll change from one color linearly to another, and this will proceed for how many colors we have. And then what I'm going to do is that for linear gradient, I'm going to define the colors. So the colors are simply going to be our color scheme. And then what we're going to do is that we're going to define the stops. So the stops refer to the points at which one color stops and one color changes to the other. So we want the first color to go from 0 to 0.30, so 30% of the container. And then we want the other color to go from 0.30 to 0.70. So we want one color to go from 0.30 to 0.30. Then between 0.30 to 0.70, we want to merge those colors together. And then 0.70 to 1, we want the colors to be the final color. With that, what we're going to do is that we're going to define the beginning and the end for our actual gradient. So the begin value refers to where in the container our gradient is going to start from. So we'll do alignment dot, and then we'll do bottom left. The reason being is that if you open our design files, you're going to see that our gradient starts from bottom left and ends at our bottom right. And then for the end, we're going to do alignment, and then we'll do the actual top right. With this, we have to add a comma here, and we can do Alt-Shift-F, Command save, and hopefully our list tile now shows up the color. Now what we have to do is actually you have to fix the actual container bit, because for now, as you can see, we are not giving our actual container some rounded corners. So to do that, what we're going to do is that we're going to define the border radius inside of our box decoration, and we'll set the border radius to border radius.circular and then 15, and do Alt-Shift-F, Command save. So with that, I'm going to end this video here, and now in the next video, we are actually going to take a break from actually developing the UI and actually create the database functions that are going to allow us to actually retrieve the messages inside of a conversation. So with that, I'm going to end this video here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.